Tragedy unfolds as a mother's behavior raises suspicion in a murder investigation.
Who is now accused of molesting and murdering her. Here's the story.
Stephan Sterns was arrested in March of 2024 in connection with the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto in Kissimmee, Florida. After Madeline was reported missing...
No, let me just explain it real quick since we're talking about what is Jen Soto's behavior reveal? Why has she not been arrested? Her 1 day of immunity was any statements that she made in that interview. If they found out later that she lied in that interview, which we saw her lying, then she could be charged with those things later on. Nothing else that she said was included in that. It was only what she said in the 1 hour and 1 minute interview. All right. And Jen's behavior absolutely shows guilty knowledge and so much more.
Authorities launched an extensive search, ultimately discovering her body in a remote area of Osceola County. The medical examiner determined she had been strangled. Investigators quickly focused on Sterns, the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, Jen Soto.
Interesting.
Evidence revealed that Sterns had been allegedly sexually abusing Madeline for years. He was charged with first-degree murder, capital sexual battery, and possession of sexual abuse material. Sterns is currently in custody awaiting his upcoming trial and could face the...
And I did do a poll to see if people think that the prosecution is going to offer a plea deal. And I weigh in on the side of I do think they're going to offer a plea deal. And I guess the other part of it would be, is he going to accept it? All right, on a cruise to Ensenada, and happy birthday month to all the July babies and everybody that's talking about the case that's here that is your birthday or your children's birthday. Now, Renee says, I heard she had immunity if she testified. We have not seen any kind of documentation that says Jen Soto has immunity if she testifies. Her immunity was only in the one-use derivative immunity, which is a single use for one interview. There would be no point in even having her testify if they just said, okay, you can testify and you get full immunity. That's not how it works. And even if they did offer her immunity, it would be to tell the truth. She couldn't sit there and spout the lies anymore, any of the lies, which is hard because there's a lot of them. Nikki, thank you so much. Happy birthday month. Jay, we love you for the $1.99. Happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, everybody. Cool, Jay. I'm celebrating my birthday on July 23rd. Awesome. July. Yes, we also need to remember Sebastian Rogers. That case is just the attention and the coverage that he gets for the things is crazy. I think they could have pushed harder. I agree. Because it wasn't an interrogation, it was an interview. There's two different stories when there's an interview versus calling it an interrogation, and they did not interrogate her, but I wish they would have, because I feel like they could have got much more out of that. They didn't push at all, which is wild.
Death penalty if convicted in a second trial for Madeline's murder. Meanwhile, Madeline's mother, Jen, has not been charged and may testify against her ex-boyfriend, Stephan Sterns.
Jen Soto has spoken publicly. She's spoken on television in interviews when Madeline was first missing. She spoke in multiple.
Now, let me just clear this up. She was, in fact, and it's taken me, I've had to change different times because someone tells me one thing and then I hear from another, because we've speculated this whole case up until now. Even now, it's all speculation, right? So originally I was told Jen Soto didn't make it to the first funeral that was private. She did. She was there. And the person that told me that went to that private funeral, but they got there after she left. So Jen Soto did, in fact, go to Maddie's funeral, the very first one that they did that was private for just them. Tyler Wallace wasn't at that one. Jen Soto was there. All right. So I've said a couple of different things and I flip-flop because somebody reached out and said she wasn't there, Jay, but comes to find out she wasn't there when that person got there, and that person didn't want me to use their name. So that goes to show you they didn't want to be caught up, but they didn't want to get into the mix because they weren't 100% sure. So now I absolutely know Jen Soto was there. I do know she didn't call 911. She didn't ever go to the locks where the locks of love are or any of that. But she did go to the first funeral that they had. Okay. So Indy Isham, thank you so much, my friend, for the $4.99. We'll call it the super sticker. Jamie says my husband does the same in August. It takes a whole month to celebrate. Happy birthday, you rock. Is your husband a Leo too, by chance? Let me know. All right, let's keep going.
Police interviews, she never exercised her Fifth Amendment right to not say anything, her right to remain silent. She continued to speak. But a lot of things that she has said through the course of this have had people, myself included, scratching their heads trying to figure out what exactly is going on with Jen Soto.
And if you're a person of true crime, and you are because you're here, people that cremate the victim really quickly is a huge telltale that they want to hide something right away. They should not, in my opinion, the police, law enforcement should not have let Maddie be cremated the way that she was so quickly. And I know everybody says, and I know that happened. I know there was a medical examiner and they did the autopsy and they documented it, but you can never go back now and say anything different unless you go and look at those test results, which still isn't going to do the same thing. So yeah, I agree with that. The whole cremation thing, it's always a telltale of something bigger. All right. What's up, Angel Life? Good to see you.
Why does she say these things? Why does she act this way? Why did she do? Oh my days. Why did she allow to happen what happened in this case involving her daughter? So right now, let's take a look at some of the statements that have been made by Jen Soto during the course of this.
Please.
I feel like I can't breathe.
All right. When we first heard this, I can't breathe interview. And thank you, Panda Ann, for the 1999 super sticker. Let me know if you want me to give some memberships in your name. All right. When we first heard this, we went wild over this. All of these things we only got bits and pieces of back in the day. And now we have a full picture. Now, Ashton Lisa, I just cremated my mother-in-law who died of natural causes, and cremation was not that quick. Yes, a lot of people that I know in my family also prefer to be cremated, but it's not under a criminal circumstance. That's a criminal investigation. It's still a criminal investigation, and I feel like they shouldn't have let her do that. All right, let's keep going.
Like you're thinking about is, where is she? Is she safe? Is she okay?
What's her name?
Madeline. Madeone.
Madeline.
That's great.
You guys are just sitting in the same bed together. You guys will cohabitate. She's not sitting in her room. It's off to be to establish a rule that anyone's in the same room. But when you establish that rule for 3 years, she's already dating.
My husband, I had no idea. If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything.
He's never mentioned anything, but she never saw anything. That's another thing. I think that's neglect at its finest. And yeah, a lot of people disagree with me, Janet Lee, and they say, "Oh, it doesn't really matter that they cremated because the medical examiner they did an autopsy, they documented it, they saved things, but sometimes they don't, and sometimes those samples are not good enough. It's not enough, or it's been too long, or they can't find them." Yeah, I absolutely believe that, Dunn. And thank you for the red flags there. I mean, watching this again now after knowing everything we know is really hard to swallow and say that she didn't know what was going on. There's no way. And what's up, Sarah Jarvis from Glasgow? Shout out to you. Jamie Neal, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. And yeah, where did the Woody Allen come from? That's because they asked her biggest fear. That's usually a tactic in interrogations. When they interrogate you, not just answer questions, they interrogate you. They say, "What's your biggest fear?" Or tell me, what do you think happened to your daughter? And they want you to, or whatever it is, they want you to fill in those blanks so they can look at what you're saying and take a closer look at what you're saying, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, hubby's a Leo. Shout out to the Leos.
I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. I was oblivious to everything
I know.
for years.
Maybe you ask yourself that far like the cloud goes. I feel like this relationship with.
What's their relationship like?
Sounds really bad. Super great. He's always been super sweet and kind to her. Very accepting, warming, understanding of her. She's got ADHD. This is kind of a little.
And listen to her voice now, guys. She's switched up so many times over this little bit of a segment. Now it almost sounds like she's being like flirty with him. Her voice changes. She's not crying anymore. But she's talking about Maddie in the form of a body as well. So remember that. And yeah, the Woody Allen thing, you might have missed the reference if you're younger, but all of us crime crew here, we're too old for that. We know exactly what that means. Thank you, Angel Life. Sending love, blessings, Jay. Thank you. I appreciate that. And always welcome to send love and light over here. I can use it. Thank you, Wendy, for the Guilty of Crime membership. Absolutely. She's gross. She knew. Baby voice. Yes, I just wanted to shout that out to you guys. Listen how different. She didn't cry like that over her daughter. So what does this behavior tell you?
Obviously, at home. In the sense, like, she doesn't act like a regular kid. But, can't have extra patience and understanding for her.
What?
And he does that really well.
Do you think it's possible?
He does that really well. He has extra patience for Maddie and he does it really well. Do you think because he was benefiting really well from it, benefiting and having a place to stay and just using Maddie as a torso like he had at home, a half torso, literally in his bed under the covers with him, just a torso. As a matter of fact, that's where Deb found it, was in his freaking bed, just chilling. You think that sick man, you think she didn't see that? You think she didn't know that he liked this kinky type of shit? That's fine to be kinky, but don't do that to a little girl. She knew all that, guys. She did. And they have to ask her what her daughter's name is several times in several interviews because she just doesn't name her.
Let Stephan and her having
Yeah.
sexual relationship?
Nope.
Before those images, I would have said absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're telling me that on the other side of that penis and they showed me
Yes.
her,
Yes. And listen to her tone. Listen to what she's talking